All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. So I wanted to talk about this in its own video. I didn't want to talk about this and just kind of lump it into a news video because this one kind of hit different when I saw it on my Instagram feed today. I was scrolling through Instagram and I kept seeing pictures of Andy Haman pop up in my feed, and I was like, that's kind of odd. And then I read the description of one of those pictures, and I thought, surely this can't be true, that Andy Haman passed away at the age of 55 years old. He was a pro bodybuilder. He was very popular in the industry. He was a guy that a lot of people recognized, despite the fact he was never like a Mr. Olympia. He was never like one of the winningest guys of all time. He was a guy that was really well known for being like the positive guy in the industry. He was always going around. He was dressing up as superheroes. People saw him in the magazines. He was a diamondized athlete for a very long time, so you probably saw him in some of those ads. And at the expos, he would always dress up like Mr. Incredible. He would dress up like a superhero. And every time you saw the guy, he's smiling, he's having fun, he's having a good time, he's taking pictures, he's giving people's hugs. He's giving people hugs, and he's making people's day. I mean, the guy was just super positive. Everything about his image was just positivity. And the first thing I thought when I saw this news was about his family. I mean, following Andy early on, he was one of the first bodybuilders that I followed back when I was younger, getting into bodybuilding for the first time, buying the magazines, joining up at my local rec center. I think it was back in the MySpace days. Andy was kind of ahead of the game when it came to social media, and I followed him on MySpace or whatever. I think I followed his Facebook page. And one of the first things I thought about was his family, because Andy, when I think of Andy Haman, one of the things that I think about was he was constantly posting pictures with his family, posting pictures of his kids, posting pictures of his wife. He was a family man. He was a dad before he was a bodybuilder. I mean, that's what he was posting more than anything, was his family. You could tell that he was just that guy. He loved his family. He was super positive, and that's what he posted about. So the first thing that I thought of, I was like, man, he's got all these kids my age. I mean, I'm 27. Andy's probably my dad's age. He was 55 when he passed away. And it just hit me different when I was scrolling through and saw that. I was just like, man. And I clicked one of these posts, and I was reading some of the comments, and that's why I wanted to make a separate video about the Andy Haman thing, because one of the posts that I clicked, and this happens every time a bodybuilder passes away, the majority of the comments that I was reading were, oh, steroids. He died because of steroids. He did too many steroids. Bodybuilding took another one. And honestly, it just sucks to see that every time a bodybuilder passes away. First of all, the cause of death hasn't even been announced. No one even knows. No one on the internet commenting these things even knows how he passed away. Secondly, why can't the first comment just be, I'm thinking of his family, condolences to his family. Wow, this is tragic. A great positive person in the industry. You never heard a negative thing about Andy Haman. Everybody that ever met the guy or saw the guy, they were left with a positive impression. The guy was like the most positive dude in the industry. And I see these comments, and it's always the same thing. Every time a bodybuilder passes, steroids, bodybuilding killed him. He overdid it. He was too big. I mean, this guy, he wasn't Mr. Olympia or anything. He wasn't like the biggest mass monster you ever saw. And I don't think he was really pushing it to the limit. He was kind of just, he was in good shape. He went to expos. He dressed up as Mr. Incredible, and he just made people smile. He was always having a good time. He wasn't the guy that was trying to get to 320 pounds like we see nowadays. And I just think, like, I just wish people were a little bit more considerate when they comment these things. It's like, dude, the guy passed away. He's got a family. He's got kids. And on the post announcing that he passed away, the post announcing to the bodybuilding and fitness community, all you see is like this same comment. You see it every time. And it's just, I wish that people would just focus on the positive things. Like here, I've had this picture of his family pulled up for a pretty good portion of this video. I mean, that's what you should be focusing on. If you were familiar with Andy and you were familiar with him or you followed him or whatever, I mean, that's what the takeaway here is. His family just lost a dad and lost a husband. And everyone is so concerned with this, oh, it was the drugs. He did too many drugs. That had to be it. And I just hate to see that. I mean, we don't need to do this over and over and over again. We've all had this conversation. I always say it's better to stay natural. I discourage people from starting a cycle. Anytime a young kid messages me and says, what should I take for my first cycle? I say, just don't do it at all. And it's just, We know that. We've had these conversations. I advocate for that as well. I advocate anybody that asks me, I say, I would really rather see you stay natural. So we know that these things can be dangerous, but when someone passes away, it doesn't always have to be this conversation. It was the drugs. This is what did it. This is how he passed. And again, the cause of death isn't even out there. And it's just one of those things that made me stop when I was scrolling on Instagram, and I was like, man, it was just one of those sobering moments. This happy guy, he's a dad, and he just he passed away out of the blue. And I think it was kind of shocking to a lot of people in the industry. And again, we don't know how it happened or why. But you know, these pictures, if you look at his Instagram, you can see what kind of guy the guy was. He liked to laugh. He liked to have a good time. He liked to make people smile. He's dressing up as Super Santa in this picture. I mean, it sucks to see. And it's just kind of that reminder that life is short, and just day by day, you just kind of got to live life to the fullest. We're not guaranteed tomorrow. And just kind of a reminder, this guy, I mean, this superhero image. I mean, it's a perfect example. The guy seems invincible. He's positive. He's a dad. He's a superhero. This big, muscular dude, he seems invincible. And then one day you wake up and look at your Instagram and you see that he passed away at a pretty young age. It's just one of those sobering moments where you kind of got to stop and think about the family, just think about your own family. It's just one of those sad things to see, man. I just stopped and I was like, dude, I don't know. It just sucks. And then reading those comments on that post, it was like, man, I wish people would just have a little bit more respect and a little bit more consideration for his family members and his loved ones. I mean, they're going to click that post. They're going to see what you guys are saying. Is it really necessary to go into the steroids killed him conversation? You don't even know what happened. It could have been anything. It's just one of those things that drives me crazy, man. Honestly, I hate to see it. So rest in peace to Andy Haman. This one kind of hit different. Like I said, I didn't just want to lump it into a news video. I wanted it to have its own video. His kids, his family, his loved ones, they are in my thoughts and prayers. And I hope you guys send them some positive vibes as well. And it's not just a bunch of, this is what happened. This is what caused it. You know, just wish them well. They're going through it. That's all I would ask. So that's going to wrap it up for the video today, guys. Nick Strength and Power signing out.